Last night I gave my final State of the Union address. I promised that it was going to be shorter, and then it ended up just being like, I think, a minute shorter. So technically it was shorter, but it wasn't like as short as I was planning. But today I'm definitely going to be shorter. Yes, no, but whenever I give a State of the Union, I want to get out of Washington and talk to people, out in the country. And so the first place I decided to visit was Omaha. Part of the reason I wanted to come here is I've got a lot of friends like Brad and others, and I had not been here in a while. So the last time I was here for an event in Omaha was 2008. And that year, in the primary, I won the Nebraska caucus. And there were people, I saw some signs who called the city Omaha. And then in November of 2008, Joe Biden and I won one electoral vote here, which I was pretty excited about. And then 4 years later, I got whooped all across this state. It was not pretty. It was not pretty. But I love Nebraska anyway. There's something about the Midwest and its people and the way that folks pull together and the degree to which in this state the kind of politics I talked about last night has always been there. There's a civility and people treating each other with respect. And so that's part of the reason why I wanted to come back here today. Because as I said last night, America's at its best when we see each other as one people. Not Democrat first, not Republican first, but Americans first. That's our priority. And that's harder to do during political season. I understand that. And you hear a bunch of folks right across the river. And I don't know if the TV ads drift over here, but they're kind of depressing. I mean, I like talking about hope and all the good stuff that was going on, and then you look at some of these ads, and it's some doom and some gloom. It's like everybody's running around and saying, America's in decline, and everything's scary, and let's find somebody to blame. And the point I wanted to make, the core thing I wanted to say last night was, that's not the spirit that brought America so far. That's not how we traveled so far. And it's not what I see every day. That's not what I see in communities and neighborhoods all across this country. Now, what's true is we're all living through a time of extraordinary change. And that's always a little bit unsettling. And that's what Lisa wrote to me about at 4 a.m., which, I wanted to tell Lisa, you should get some sleep. But when you have a 1-year-old, that's what happens. But you heard Lisa talk about, she was wondering whether the world she grew up in would be just as prosperous and secure for her new baby as it was for her. But I want everybody to remember, America's been through big changes before. And each time we overcame our fears and we overcame our challenges. Each time we made change work for us. And each time we emerged stronger and better than we were before. That's what we do as Americans. We go through war and depression and all kinds of social and economic changes, but each time we've ended up better than we were before. Now, here's the thing. Progress is not inevitable. You got to work for it. Somebody's stealing my lines up here. It's the result of the choices that we have to make together, and we've got to make some choices. Do we respond to these changes with fear, and do we turn on each other, or do we face the future with confidence in who we are and what we stand for and all the incredible things we can get done together? So I just want to repeat the four big questions that I think we have to answer as a country. And this is true whether you're a Democrat, whether you're a Republican. You should think about, and we have to have good answers for these four questions, regardless of who's president, regardless of who controls Congress. Number one, how do we make sure that this new economy works for everybody and not just some people? That's question number one. Number two, a related question, how do we make sure that the spirit of innovation is used to solve some of our biggest challenges? Number three, how do we keep America safe and lead the world without becoming the world's policeman? Number four, and maybe most important, is how do we have a politics that reflects the best in us and not the worst?